Hello and welcome back to the 900th edition of the MCR. My name is Mac. My co-host is TJ, and we're going to have a casual conversation that we invite you to join in on in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you think we're right. Tell us if you think we're wrong. But when we started this 6 years ago on January 20th, 2019, one of our first episodes, if not our first episode, was about the possibility of another civil war. And of course, it hasn't happened, thankfully, because it would be good for no one. You know, we had our co-host Marty with us, and TJ and I thought it was possible. Marty had the idea that we said it was imminent, which we did not. He didn't think it would happen because there's lots of chances it could have happened, but didn't. I would tell you he was completely ignoring the fact that it did, and 639,000 Americans lost their lives. That said, when Trump was elected and he was sworn in, I think there was a collective sigh of relief from many of us on the right that, okay, we dodged that bullet, that Trump wasn't the only one that dodged a bullet, that we dodged one too, that we probably aren't going to have that civil war because, you know, we're going to take control of things and bring some sanity back into daily life. And I think to some degree that's happened. But now that the light has been shown on the left and the money thieves, the Democrats and the George Soroses of the world and the politicos and all the money that's being laundered and put into people's pockets. Well, they don't like that, and they want to stop it. And they're throwing up a bunch of straw men saying that we didn't elect Elon, and to that I say, well, I didn't elect Valerie Jarrett either. I didn't elect Susan Rice. I didn't elect Jen Psaki to be propaganda minister either. So our government isn't, by the largest portion, is not run by elected people. So let's just be clear about that. That's a misnomer. But what they've taken to a trend, they show their true colors, which is their first response is they want to go to violence. And you got Chuck Schumer out there saying, we'll fight in the streets. Fight, 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 fight. Well, my answer to that is, where you want to fight, Chuck? Tell me the street. Tell me the time. I can be there. You throw the first punch, Chuck, and we'll have at it. I don't think Chuck's showing up. Chuck is hiding behind his people. He's not going to fight anybody anywhere. But he is trying to get the nutters out there to go out into the streets and do their dirty work. And I'll tell you, they're going to go out there and they're going to get a dirt nap is what's going to happen, because the people aren't going to stand for it. We've had enough of their nonsense. And Elizabeth Warren is another one. Get in the streets and fight. She ain't fighting. She couldn't fight her way out of a wet paper bag, that old kook. What say you, TJ? Are you ready to fight in the streets?
Well, as far as fighting in the streets, I'm in no fighting shape, that's for sure, at my age. But I'm not so convinced the battle lines are going to be clearly identifiable. I'm
speaking directly to meet in the streets and fight, which is what they're calling for. In other words, they're calling for riots and let's burn down the cities. Now, if you want to burn down, let's say, in our case, Lansing or Pontiac or Benton Harbor or Detroit, feel free, burn those places down. But if you come to my city, a small town, it's not going to fly.
Well, you, as you so often do, kind of beat me to my point here in that I believe it's going to be rural versus urban.
Yeah.
And Mac, you know, I've beat this drum for years, and I've heard this on other YouTubers or other content creators will say a Hunger Games type of scenario where you've got the glitzy rock and roll living at high cities and the downtrodden living in poverty flyover country. Okay. Yeah. And at some point, there's going to be a breaking point. And you know,
well, they're trying to get the nutters, like the transgenders, who believe there's a transgender genocide happening, which of course there isn't. Most people couldn't give a damn about transgenders. Don't think about them. I spend zero part of my day thinking about transgenders unless they're trying to compete in women's sports. That's the only time I hear of them or think of them. They're like a minuscule part of the population, but they are dangerous because they are mentally ill people.
an interesting coincidence, and I don't know, it's probably a coincidence. As of lately, President Trump's been loosening the firearms regulations. That's not sitting well with the Democrats.
Well, you can't control an armed populace.
That's right, and we've referenced before. If you take the state of Michigan, just the state of Michigan, when you have the hunting season, they estimate you could have close to 1 million men under arms. Well, yes, I know they're bolt action rifles or hunting rifles, but 1 million firearms in action is still 1 million firearms.
Yeah, and you
action.
know what? When you can, from I don't know what distance, knock down a 200-pound deer, which are hard to kill. I mean, you could blast one with a car at 50 miles an hour and they get up and run off.
Well, we've even made the comment that even your average hunter is a pretty average, above average precision shooter.
My 10-year-old grandson has taken down a buck 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I say that because the saying is, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Well, I guess that's what I was trying to get at, more or less. You nailed it there. Is watch who you threaten.
Yeah.
Because if we come out in the streets, and when he says come out in the streets and fight, he's talking about come out and destroy and ruin people's businesses and those kind of things. That's what he's talking about. Detroit has made a phenomenal comeback, and the Democrats would love for that to stop and have it be all torn up so everyone wants to be on welfare again.
Yeah. You got Maxine Waters yelling out there about get in their faces. And then if you take just the other day what she did with that poor security guard, she was literally getting in his face. So, I mean, I don't think they're joking. They're
not, because they're not. Like I said, do you think she's going to be out there, or Chuck's going to be out there? Chuck, who, by the way, who threatened Supreme Court justices and nothing happened to him.
Oh yeah. Well, the word is Pamela Bondi might be looking into that, but that's a big might.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to avoid the preemptive strike the Democrats and the media tried to use. Trump's going to use this office to come get us. In other words, Trump's going to do what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
And he shouldn't do that. He shouldn't do what we did.
Well, and the irony after Trump won last year, them saying, well, we really hope you pursue reaching across the aisle, blah, 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 blah. It sickening is what it is, really.
They do make me sick, and I'm tired of their threats. And to quote Doc Holliday from Tombstone, say when.
Yeah, really.
And we'll close it out with that. So as we always say, as we said in the first 900 episodes, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on us.